Hi second graders, I'm back on today to teach you some new spelling rules for this week that you will need to know to be able to complete some of the activities that I put in your packet. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Before we jump into our new spelling rule, I want to go ahead and review the spelling rule that we talked about last time we were together. So, the last time we were together, we talked about spelling rule 12.1. Okay, we're exploring reasons why we add a silent final E to the end of words. Okay, and our first rule for why we would add final silent E is this one. It says the vowel says its long sound because of the E. All right, we saw that in words like strange. We have the silent final E here that is making this A say its long sound. Or, for example, a word like bone. We have our silent final E here that is making this O say its long sound. If we took the E away, this word would be bon, right? We would be saying the O's short sound. So if we want it to be bone, we had to add E to make it say its long sound bone. Okay? So that's the first reason, just as a review. All right, 12.1, the vowel says its long sound because of the E. Okay, so now let's talk about our next reason why we would add a silent final E. So our next rule is Rule 12.2. English words do not end in V or U. So just like we do before, with all of our new spelling rules, we're going to repeat them. So you repeat after me. English words do not end in V or U. Now, as a review, you might be recalling this rule that we learned a long time ago. Rule 3, spelling rule 3 says, English words do not end in I, U, V, or J. So hopefully you remember this one. So because we have this rule, we know that we are going to need a rule to remedy that issue, okay? So let's look at some sample words for this rule as well, okay? So for example, with this rule, let's look at the word have. We don't need to add an E because we want this A to say its short sound. And this, we would think that we could spell have like this, right? H-A-V. We know with a CVC word, our vowel is going to say its short sound, okay? But English words do not end in I, U, V, or J, and so we have to add that silent E on the end to make it a proper word, okay? Let's look at another one. What about love? And now love has a schwa. This is a goofy word anyway. Love, this is not, we don't say love, right? This is our schwa sound here. So for this one, we could, I guess, technically spell love this way, but that doesn't actually work because English words do not end in I, U, V, or J. So we have to add a silent final E to that word, okay? And our rule says English words do not end in V or U. So let's look at a couple of words that might end in U, but we have to add a E to make sure that they don't. Okay, so for example, let's look at the word blue. Okay, now this rule or this word kind of has two reasons why we add the E. First, we notice that the E is technically making that U say its long sound, but we can also not spell blue because English words do not end in U, I, U, V, or J. So you would have to add that final silent E. Okay? Another word, another example word could be rescue. And again, this one would also kind of have two reasons why we would add that E. It's first of all making that U say its long sound, and we don't want our word to end in U. Okay? So that's our first rule that we're going to explore today. The next rule I'd like you to learn is spelling rule 12.3. So this one says the C says S and the G says J because of the E. Okay? think about the phonogram C. And what two sounds does this phonogram say? Yes, k, s, right? And then let's think about this phonogram. What does this phonogram say? Yes, this phonogram says g, j. All right, you might remember, we've talked about before, that with another spelling rule, we've talked about, let's talk about spelling rule 1. This one says C always softens to S when followed by E, I, or Y. Otherwise, C says K. So for example, with this rule, in the word scent, because the C is followed by this E, our C is not saying K. We don't read this word Kent, we read this word scent. The E is making it say its soft sound, okay? Or, for example, with the G, this word we read as Jim, right? We don't say Gim, because when G is followed by E, I, or Y, it goes to its soft sound. This Y here is making that G say its soft sound. So, with those two rules in mind, when we look at spelling rule 12.3, I'll show it to you again. The C says S and the G says J because of the E, okay? So because that E is after those words, or after those letters, it's making those letters say their soft sounds, okay? So let's look at a couple examples too for this one, okay? So let's take the word choice. This is how you spell the word choice, okay? If we did not have the silent final E, we would read this word choik, right? That's not what we're trying to say. We're trying to say choice, all right? And our silent final E is making that C say its soft sound, okay? Let's look at another word. What about trace? Okay, trace is, we have the C here because of the E saying its soft sound. It's saying S. If we took away the E, ooh, there's two reasons for the E on this one. This word says track. We want it to say trace. All right, we're going to add that silent final E because we're going to make that C say its soft sound, and it's also making that A say its long sound. So this word actually has two reasons why it has a silent final E at the end. Okay, let's look at some words with G. Okay, let's look at this word. In your head, if you can read this word to yourself and think about, why are we adding the silent final E to this word? What's it doing? Okay, it's doing two things for us. It's making this G say J instead of G, and it's making our A say its long sound. See, if we took away the E, what do you think this word would be? Can you read that? Tag. That's a made up word. That's goofy, right? The A is saying its short sound, and the G is saying its hard sound. But when we add the E, it makes the word say cage. It makes that A long, and it makes our G say its soft sound. Okay? Let's look at another example. Let's look at the word orange. Okay, for this word, we're not worried about the vowel, orange. Okay, it does have a schwa, orange. We don't really hear our vowel here. All right, so that's a tricky word to spell. But our E is making that G say its soft sound, orange. Okay? Very good. Okay, so now you have an activity in your packet this week that I'd like you to try and complete on your own. Okay? I want you to try and complete it. I'll show you what it looks like. Okay? It looks like this. So what you're going to do in a notebook, on a whiteboard if you'd like to, or just look at these words and try to do this activity in your head if you'd like to. It says mark single letter short vowels with a breve. Okay, so anytime you hear that short sound, ah, eh, or ah, okay, or I, go ahead and mark that vowel that way. And then mark single letter long vowels with a line. So put that breve over top, or not that breve, the macron on top of it. Okay. Double underline the silent E. Okay, so go ahead and underline all of those silent final E's just so that you can notice it. And then highlight the reasons for the silent final E. All right. And then in the blank, write if there are 1 or 2 reasons for the silent final E. Okay. So try and do this activity on your own based on what we just learned with our example words for those spelling rules, okay? Pause the video, and then when you're finished with the activity, you can start playing this video again and check your answers, and we'll talk about it together, okay? So go ahead and pause, and then come back to me. All right, second graders, so the last time that we were together, you were asked to complete this worksheet. Okay, I am not going to go over every single word on this page because I realized as I was writing these on the board that there are a lot of them. Okay, so I am going to go over a few of them. If you'd like to watch me work out these words, you're welcome to stay on and watch the video. If you'd rather just see what the answers are supposed to be and talk about that with your family, that is okay too. I will share a completed copy, a completed version of this worksheet with you on Friday as far as an answer sheet, and you can check your work there, okay? But in the meantime, we're going to talk about the few words that I have up on the board together, okay? So the worksheet says first to go through and mark all of our vowels is either short or long, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Gate, do, curve. This is a R-controlled vowel, so we're not going to mark that one, okay? Rice, stage, argue, dance, olive, strange, huge, serve. It's an R-controlled vowel, not going to mark that one. Mice, cue, carve, page, solve. That one's tricky. It kind of has a schwa sound. Solve, it sounds kind of goofy, but it does have that short sound. And face. Okay, so as you can see, I went through and I marked all of my vowels as either long with the macron or short with the breve. All right, I'm going to actually switch colors here. And then what it wants us to do is it wants us to double underline that silent final E. So that's what we're going to do now. I'm going to go back through with the blue marker this time. And I'm going to double underline that silent E because I just want to focus on that double silent E. Maybe when you were doing this activity, you did all of this one word at a time. That's okay with me. It probably works better if you just do it one word at a time. But I'm going to go through and do it all because what it wants us to do is focus on that silent final E. Okay, so now what it wants us to do is highlight the reason why we need that final silent E. So when I'm looking at this one, this word says gate. What I'm noticing is that that E is making the A say its long sound. So I'm going to circle the A. I don't see a U or a V here as our other reason why. So I am going to go ahead, oh, and I don't see a G or a C here that is making that G or C sound soft. So for this one, we only have one reason why we need that silent final E, and it's to make that A say its long sound. Now you are supposed to highlight. I'm circling because I can't highlight on a whiteboard, okay? For this one, do. Okay, I'm going to circle this U, and the U is saying its long sound, so I know that's one reason why, because the E is making that U say its long sound, and I know that English words can't end in I, U, V, or J, so I know that E is there for that U, and so I know there are two reasons why we need the silent final E for that one. Okay? For curve, we don't really have a vowel changing its sound because we just have our R-controlled vowel, but I do see this V here. So for this one, we just have one reason. Okay? For this one, ooh, I notice right away that C. And I say this word is rice. Okay, so I'm seeing that we have the C saying it's soft sound, and this I is saying it's long sound. So I'm going to circle the I too, because the E is making that I say it's long sound, and it's softening that C. So there are two reasons for that one. Okay, this one, stage. Oh, I see that G again. That G is saying it's soft sound, and I see that the A is saying it's long sound. So I'm going to go ahead and say 2 for that one. For argue, I see that that U is saying it's long sound, and I know that we can't end the word with a U. So for this one, 2 reasons. Okay, for dance, the A is saying it's short sound, so we don't need to worry about the vowel, but the C, dance, the C is saying it's soft sound. So there's just one reason for that silent final E. Down here with olive, I is saying it's sound, it's short sound, but I do see this V here. And the E is making that V, not B. We can't end our word with V, okay? So just 1 for this one. All right, the next word is strange. I see that the A is saying it's long sound. And I also see that G, and the G is saying J, not G. So there are 2 reasons for the silent final E. Okay, for huge, this U saying it's long sound, and we have the G saying it's soft sound, 2. For serve, we're not going to worry about the vowel because it's an R-controlled one, but I do see this V, and we know that English words cannot end in I, U, V, or J, so we're going to write 2. For this one, I see that the I is saying it's long sound, mice, I, but also we have the C saying it's soft sound, 2 reasons. For Q, U saying it's long sound, but also we know that English words do not end in I, U, V, or J. So this one is going to have 2. For carve, we've got our R control vowel. We have the V that we can't end our word with V. So we're going to say 1. For this one, we see that our A, page, is saying it's long sound, and our G is making it soft sound. So there are 2. For this one, solve, our O is saying it's short sound, ah, okay, but we do have our V, and our English words cannot end in I, U, V, or J, so just 1. And then finally with face, we have our A saying it's long sound, and our C is saying it's soft sound. So we're going to say 2, okay? Hopefully you feel like you have a pretty good understanding of those first 3 reasons why we need to add our silent final E. If you have any questions about the worksheet that you're completing, or you want to talk more about some words, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to help you with anything that you need. Okay? So until next time, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you later. Bye!